Hello everyone, welcome back to FX021. In this chapter I'm gonna teach you how to make fake snow on any object, okay, without any simulation. So the snow you see here, I do it without simulation, okay. You can plug in any model you want and it will generate snow on top of them. So let's get started. So I'm gonna show you two ways of making this snow. So let's create a geo here, create snow, and dive inside. Let's use a test rubber toy here. Yeah, and let's use the attribute delete here to delete the UV and the material path here. So UV delete and the material path delete, so we get clean version of our rubber toy. And the first way I'm gonna show you is you can create a bounding box for the our rubber toy. So as you can see, if we template our bounding box and put our view flag on the rubber toy, you can see it creates a bounding box, and we can increase the padding of it, maybe one, something like that. And we can scatter point on top and radius on the rubber toy. So let's do this. So we can use a group node to procedurally select our top faces. So group, let's call the group name to top, or you can just use $OS here. So the $OS means the node name. So whatever the node name is, it's gonna be our group name. So if we change the group name, node name to top, and now you click on the middle mouse on your use the middle mouse, and the group name will be top. Okay, so we're gonna uncheck the base group here. We're gonna use the keep my binomals, and the normal direction is 0, 1, 0, and just change the angle a little bit. Now you can see it only select the top faces here, and use the blast node here to delete the top faces, and choose the delete non-selected here. And now let's template our rubber toy, and you can see it. Now let's scatter some point on the grid. And now let's turn on point display here and change it to dark. Okay, you can see the point are like it's kind of not randomly spaced. So let's turn off the relax iterations. Now you can see it's more random position. And what you can do is use array node here, and you can use another wrangle node here to change the normal direction here. Let's use add normal equals 0, -1, 0, which is you can check your normal direction. It's facing downward because it's -1, and we can rate the points to our rubber toy here. Okay, and it's gonna be using our normal direction. Turn off the point here, and you can see there are some points on the surface here. We can unshow the guide geometry here. Let's merge these together. Merge my point and my rubber toy, and you can see this point on it. Let's increase the scatter point total count to maybe something like this. You can see the points are only on the top of our rubber toy. Okay, but you want to delete this point on the top. So when we rate this point, they have a group called rate heat group. So create that group here, and you can just use the glass node to delete the rate heat group and delete non-selected, so it's only gonna be the point on the surface. And now you can see it's on the surface here. And then we're gonna convert this into VDB and render it like so that it looks like snow. Okay. But before that, I'm gonna show you another way to do it, and it gives you more control of the snow, which we're gonna use a little bit of math here, which is dot product. So if you don't know dot product, I can simply explain it to you. So this is a website I found at Google. So dot product is will calculate the result of two vectors and returns you a float value. Okay, you don't need to know how the math works, but you just need to understand what's the result of it. So if two vectors are perpendicular, the dot product will be 0. And if the angle between two vectors is less than 90 degrees, the value will be positive. And if it's greater than 90 degrees, the dot product will be negative. Okay, so I'm gonna draw you a graph here. So let's go to labs and paint. Okay, so let's say this is our vector here, and we got another vector. So the angle between these two vectors, if they are small, then the dot product will be positive and will be bigger. If the angle between them are perpendicular, then the dot product will be 0. The larger the angle, the difference between the angle are, if it's very large, then it's gonna be negative. Okay, so that's the basic principle of it. So let's create an attribute VOP. Let's calculate the dot product here. So we already have one vector, which is our normal. So we got our normal direction here. So we want to compare each normal direction with our custom vector. So use a dot product here. And the first input is gonna be our normal. The second input, we can custom our second input, use parameter here. It's called custom direction here, and change it to vector. And now let's simply connect this to CD attribute here, and turn off the vector here, turn off the normal here, and connect the attribute delete so we don't have the texture on the rubber toy. Okay, now you can see nothing because our custom direction is set to 0, 0, 0. So the snow usually will be on top of our object. So let's set the custom vector to 0, 1, 0. Now you can see the color difference. Okay, the bottom side is darker and the up side is more bright. It's because the 0, 1, 0, which is up vector, it's comparing the 0, 1, 0 to this normal direction. So these two vectors are less than 90 degrees, so they're gonna get a positive value. And the vector, if compared to the normal direction at the bottom, then it's gonna be greater than 90 degrees, and it's gonna be negative values, so it's gonna be dark. Okay, and we can go to the VOP and add more to it. So the dot product will return you a -1 to +1 value. So we can use that to fit the use the feed range to change it to the 0 to 1 value, so that we can feed into ramp and custom it. Okay, so the source is gonna be -1 to 1, and the destination is gonna be 0 and 1. And now we can feed that into a ramp. So ramp parameter here, it's called snow cover here, and we're gonna use it spline ramp here. Now you can see if I'm changing the ramp value here. Let's go outside. The default ramp is gonna be set to 0 here. So now it's 0 to 1. If we change the value here, you can see we are remapping our dot product value. Okay, now you can see it, we are using mask to find the up faces. Okay, so it's a different way here. So we can, now that because we plugged that into CD, so we can use scatter node again. And yeah, we're gonna scatter based on our CD attribute. So now it's generated by density, but we want to scatter on the CD here. And you know, turn off the relax iteration here, so it's more randomly spaced, and maybe turn on the total count here. Okay, maybe this value is good, I think. And yeah, let's delete this one. So now we got two, and we can change the scatter here as well. Maybe, yeah, and you can use a switch now. So that we got two results here. I'm gonna use the result from the dot product here. And the good thing of this is it has more control. So you can see if we change the ramp, you can see we can change the coverage of the snow. Okay, now it's got more snow, less snow, lesser and lesser. Okay, it got more control of it. So it's better than the ray method here. And you can also change the direction here as well, maybe 100. You can see it's on the other side, or maybe 111. You can see it's more customable. If you want to make dirt, you might want like a -1 here, you know. So it's like a dirt layer at the bottom. So I'm gonna use 010 here. That's why I like this method a lot, because it's very customizable. Okay, so maybe set that to, yeah, I think this is good. So now let's turn that into a volume. First thing we can do is use the attribute delete again, so that we don't want these color values on it. Okay, we want a clean version, so delete color. So it's back to normal. And we can use VDB from particles. We already use it in our Shang-Chi project of this node. We use this to make fake smoke trails. So we're gonna use this to make fake snow again. Okay, VDB from particles. So click on that. The default is set to distance VDB surface. We can decrease the voxel size here, so that we get a much more detailed result. So maybe 0.02 here. It takes some time to calculate. Okay, you can see the skew is huge here, so we can use the wrangle node to, you know, control the P skew here. Let's put our video flag on the attribute wrangle here. So let's type at p-skill equals channel float p-skill. And we'll create a slider here. You can change your p-skill. If you go to your geometry spreadsheet, you can see your p-skill here. Okay. You can also randomize your p-skill, but I'm not gonna do here. So maybe 0.05 here is good. And then we go to our VDB from particles. You can see it's smaller. Okay. You can change maybe the radius. It doesn't work. You can now change the surface to density, so the fog density here. And you can play around with the value here. You can see, yeah, now this is our snow. We can smooth this out. You can see the edges a little bit jagged, and you can also increase your resolution there, maybe 0.05 here. So it's more detailed, and you can maybe VDB smooth. Maybe change the value here to smooth it, and change iteration here. So I think this is good. And we can also add some noise on it. So use the volume VOP here. We can, it's like attribute VOP, but it's for volume. Okay. You can see we got density here, so it's basically for volume. And the density here, we already create in the VDB from particles. We already create our density attribute here. So we got our density attribute. So let's dive inside. First thing I think I want to do is this density is not enough. I think I'm gonna increase the density. So use a multiply constant here. So we can set the multiply to 3. Now you can see it's more dense. And we can add some noise to break up the pattern here. So maybe color noise here, and add that to our density. Position to position, noise, add, and to the density. Now you can see we got some parts are more dense, have more density, and some parts are less. You can change the frequency here. I think it's too much, maybe. Yeah, just get a value you like. You can also click the gear icon here and the promote parameter here. Also the amplitude roughness, so that you got these controls on the volume VOP node. So I think 1.5, 1.225. Yeah, I think this is good. Now, if we switch to the first one, which is our ray node, you can also see this also works on that. The result is slightly different, but basically they are the same. But just with the second method, we got more controls in the attribute VOP here. Like if we drag this, you can see it generate more snow here. So now we can go render this out. Okay. So in Houdini 18 here, Houdini 19 here, let's create a node here called out. We got a new render engine called Comma. We used to use Mantra, but it's slow. So we're gonna use the new render engine. So let's dive inside snow. We're gonna need our object here. So create a node here. Connect here. Called geo. Control C to copy the geo here. Let's create another folder, geo folder here. Call it toy maybe. And dive inside. Use object merge here to get our rubber toy. Okay. And now let's go to the stage here. Create a lock network and dive inside. We want to import our geo. The object we want is snow. Let's turn that to dark. And also another thing import here. We want our toy. Let's see. Yeah, it's inside. And merge these two together. Create a light, environment light here. The texture we want to use is that come with Houdini. Just randomly pick one. I'm gonna use the second one here. And click on the view icon here. You can already see. If you don't want to see the background, you can click D on your keyboard and turn off the display environment light. Okay. And also you can create a comma render engine node here, connect here, and we're gonna assign our material to our snow and rubber toy. So let's call it snow, rubber toy, call it toy. So we're gonna use the material library here. Okay. Inside our material library, we're gonna use a pyro shader. Yeah, we're gonna render this as smoke. So let's go outside. Let's turn that, go to the perspective here, change the Houdini GL to comma here. Let's view it. So wait a few seconds. You can already see it. You can turn on, increase the intensity maybe to 3. Okay, and click on the camera icon here. And let's go to the material library here. And we want to assign the snow material here. For now, it's not assigned because it's the assigned geometry is not checked. So assign to geometry. The geometry path here is our snow. Okay. And now if you dive inside, maybe like change color to red. Now you can see it's working. So let's change it back to the white. Maybe increase density skew here as well. Maybe 20. You can already see it's working. And maybe turn on a little bit scattering. Yeah. I think that's it. You can see your smoke, and you can also change the brightness so it's more like snow. Okay. See? Now if we go to the object level here, and let's say we change it to maybe change the slider here so that it has more snow. And now let's go back to stage, lock network. See, it has more snow on it. If we go back to object level again, go to the snow, turn this back, and let's create another test geo here, maybe this one. Let's connect here, wait a few seconds for him to calculate. You can already see the snow on top of it. So let's go back to stage, wait a few seconds. You can see the snow on top of that. Okay. And let's say you wanna, let's create a rock very quickly. So I'm gonna use a sphere and change it to, put our view flag and change it to maybe a polygon and increase the frequency to 30. And maybe change the radius here. and add a mountain node so that it's maybe your props. Okay, the props in your scene, maybe you download from the Megascan. So maybe this is your scan model here. So yeah, let's go put our view flag on the out here and go to the stage. You can see the rock is covered by snow. Maybe it's too much. You can, you can always dive inside and change the value here, and let's render this. See? So yeah, it's not clear because the rock here is white. I'm gonna add a color to it so you can see it easily. So maybe a color node here, maybe gray so that it's easier to see. So go to stage. Now you can see, yeah, maybe this is your asset from the Megascan. Now you have your procedural snow. Oh yeah, you don't need to worry about anything. Okay. So yeah, that's it for today. So this is my way to create procedural snow on any object. So hope you like the video. If you like this, please subscribe to my channel. Okay, see you in next time.